So yeah, let's start at least some of this video. I'll stay on for another hour. This is 9. It's 8:57 now. It's getting dark much earlier, man. It's getting dark around like 7. So like summer's officially over out here. Yeah, let's start this video.
Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Keep It Positive, Sweetie. I'm Krista Renee, and today we are talking about dating in your 40s. And when I think about dating in your 40s, the first song that came to mind was Destiny's Child, Independent Women. All the women independent, throw your hands up at me. And when I think of that, it's because I feel like once women get to their 40s, and they're still dating, they're definitely independent. I know for me, I just turned 40 in October, and it was something that clicked. It was something that clicked. It's like literally the day I woke up after my party, I was like, whoa, I had so much clarity on things, and I was very sure about what I wanted to do, how I wanted it, and all those things. But leading up to that, I work in a very vain industry, an industry that's always looking for the youngest and the hottest and the next. And I was worried, like, oh my God,
gotta slow this down.
We also in the industry, we don't tell people our age. So like, even on my invitation, I was very strategic about not putting that I was turning 40 because I just didn't want to put that out there. But everybody found out anyway, so now everybody knows. But when you're dating in your 40s, there's so many factors that come into place. Your biological clock is ticking. Society has put so much stress on, you need to get married by this age, you need to start having children by this age. And my acting career got started very late, and what I thought was late, but then I realized some of the greatest artists there are started in their 40s. So I'm actually not as insecure about that as I was before, but I was worried about that. My biological clock is ticking. I found myself attracting like 20-year-olds. And I was like, what is this? I know I don't look 40. That was the first thing. I don't look like how old I am, but I was attracting young people. And with that, it became a stress because I knew they wanted children. I'm like, okay, these are conversations we have to have. And I always wanted to date somebody that's either.
Okay, yeah, see, this is another main confusion that women have, right? And I touched on this about a week ago. How women get confused that men just want to, any and every man just wants some extra side pussy, right? At minimum, right? You just side put. Now she's got she thinks that these 20-year-old men want to marry a 40-year-old woman, right? They seen in the profile she was 40. It wasn't no secret. She's thinking that all these men seriously want her. Right, and most women fall for this. Most women fall for that. They think most men just want to fuck you until they're tired of you. That's the reality of the dating market. Even a lot of guys who think they want a relationship, a lot of times they really don't, man. Like once they fucked her enough times where they tired of her, that's usually where he's not anywhere near as interested as he was before. Right.
My age or a little older, and honestly, they'd already had children because I didn't want that pressure. I don't want the pressure of, okay, he wants children, I can't give him that. Like, what if I pass that stage of my life? And another thing that's really hard about dating in your 40s is, for me, is finding a man that's not intimidated. I've dated, and then men see how I'm living, and it's like, oh, I can't keep up with that. And I'm like, I don't need you to keep up.
Nobody's intimidated by you. Okay, every woman needs younger guys, maybe a severely inexperienced guy, maybe, okay, but any man who's had experience is not. I mean, he could be a little shy. I see that, but men, on the overall scale, men are not intimidated by you. All right, every woman needs to hear this shit. No, like I said, but he might be nervous to approach or something like that, or he might he just doesn't want to make you mad to ruin his chances of getting some pussy out of you real quick. But he's not. No man is intimidated by you. Okay, like every woman needs to hear that, get that through her fucking skull. The only guys who will be intimidated are going to be younger guys because they just don't have experience, maybe shit like that. Okay, I'm not intimidated at all by this type of woman at all. There's nothing. No. Okay, so any guy who she's genuinely going to have some interest in, that's going to be like like the old tale, any guy who's she's going to have interest in is going to be guys who are better than her. Those guys are not going to be intimidated by a you type of woman because he can go out there and just buy a 25-year-old woman. Because women are always for sale. Look at OnlyFans. They're always, woman is always for sale.
Things I need from you. Of course, I want someone who has something going on for themselves. Of course, I want somebody who can do the things for me that I can do for them, but it doesn't have to always be on the level that I do it, because that's not what I need you for. I need love. I need affection. I need the love languages. And there's 5, and I need all of them. I need someone that is emotionally supportive to me, someone that supports my career. And I've found that a lot of men are not in a space of maturity or even have the bandwidth to give me that. They're so used to just buying women and, oh, I'll go do this, I'll pay for this, and everything's gonna be okay. No, like I need you to be my homie, my lover, and my friend. And that's where I feel like even dating, I just haven't found all 3 of those things in a man.
No, okay, yeah. This is textbook woman idiot right here. There's no other way to put it. I don't mean to call her an idiot, but that's when it comes to dating, this is textbook idiotic woman, right? She wants a man who's going to be her friend. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, her saying that is the same thing as a man saying to a woman, okay, if a man had said that about a woman, then she'd be talking about something. Oh, he wants me to be his mommy, right? Here's what's really going on with her specifically and women who say shit like this, and this is gonna hurt. She knows that she knows that she absolutely is not worth it to be a partner or a spouse to, right? She knows that herself, right? The genuine version of her is so far away from being a genuinely decent person to just be around and hang around with that instead of having to face it, she's going to try to say that she has these higher standards or requirements. That way you can't say that she failed. She'll just say, oh, the men failed. Right? Because if she was so fucking awesome, if she was so fucking great, she wouldn't have these problems. She would have had a man. Right? Do the math. Think. She if she was so fucking amazing, she's so awesome, she's a good friend, a partner, a confidant, and romantic, and if she's so amazing, well, there should be an amazing guy with her. But she's not. That's why she's alone. And she's 40 at that. She's not bad looking for 40. I'll give her that. But she's alone. Her standards are too high, are too damn high. For one reason or another. But she's not alone. This is what women like her end up in, right? Because here's the thing. Most women are not good at very much of anything in life. Most women you're going to come across in life will not be good at the majority of things that they do. Outside of just sitting there existing as a woman and hoping somebody cares about her emotions. Outside of that, she's not going to do anything else very well. It's just, and I don't mean to bash women. That's just the reality of it, right? When you been around enough women to see it and read through the bullshit, it's easy to find. It's easy to see it, right? So many women will say fuck it once they figured out their time's up, and they'll just hop on, whatever last man they can find, or figure like this is probably gonna be the best it gets with whatever guy. So they'll say fuck it and tap out. But then you'll have women like this who there's men right now who would marry this woman just because she just looks like that. No other reason. Just because she's a woman and she just exists. This is the entitlement women have in a dating market. There is always going to be some lonely chump who will marry her and put her in a house just because she is a woman. That's the entitlement of woman. A woman's baseline of existence, every morning she wakes up, she knows she can get her belly full and she knows she can have a place to sleep. That's what life is to be a woman. Every day she wakes up, she knows. The woman's biggest conundrum is, does she feel comfortable with this guy or not? Her life's on easy mode, dude. Just because she's a woman, that's her baseline, right? You can't take that away from her. No matter how bad she fucks up, somebody will talk themselves into saving and being Captain Save-A-Ho, and they'll and yeah, her biggest issue is the price tag that she's put on herself, and is she comfortable or not with this guy or that guy. There's always a guy. There's always at least 5 guys hovering around her pussy. Always, always. Every woman you see in your life, from that old ugly bitch working in the gas station, to the bitch working at Starbucks, to the bitch working at Macy's, to the bitch working at an Amazon warehouse. All them bitches got 5 men hovering around waiting to take care of her. She just got to regulate, do I feel comfortable or not? Women try to talk about men have it hard. Yeah. I mean, some women try to talk about women have it hard. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's consequences to that too, but no, absolutely, there's no comparison. Let's keep this
When
going.
I think about some of my like worst and best dates, one of the best dates I ever had, I was living in DC, and this was when The Devil Wears Prada was out. Anybody who knows me knows I can quote The Devil Wears Prada from top to bottom. Like, I love that movie. And I had never taken a train ride before, so we took the train from DC to New York. He took me to Nobu 57. And this is like when Nobu was like just starting to pop, because he was in every rap song. So like it was like, oh, we want to Nobu tonight. So we went to Nobu, and then the next day he took me to see The Color Purple. After the play, he took me to Smith and Lewinsky, which was the restaurant that Meryl Streep had Anne Hathaway go get her lunch. And when she brought it, she goes, oh, I don't need it. I'm going to have lunch with Demarchier. And she was like, pissed. So she takes the plate and throws it in the sink, and the plate cracks and all that stuff. So we went there. We got the exact same steak that Meryl Streep had ordered, or that Anne Hathaway had ordered from Meryl Streep. And I was like, this is the most thoughtful Valentine's Day I've ever had, and probably still one of the most thoughtful weekends. So it's like really planned out for me. And then we got back home. He bought me my first Louis Vuitton bag, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is great. And then I found out that he was a scammer. Yeah. They always say when things seem to be too good to be true, they probably are. And I was like, Lord, how does this man work for the government and he's scamming? He had this man, and I don't want to be stereotypical, because if you live in Atlanta, we know there's a lot of scammers. And most of them are of African descent. So he had this African friend who he's like, he owed him some money, and he's like, hey babe, can whatever his name was put this money in your account? So I was like, sure. So I wake up one morning, and there's like, I wake up and there's like a -$1 million on my bank statement. I'm like, a -$1 million? I'm like, first of all, I'm working for the government. I know I ain't making no $1 million. I'm like, and who put out $1 million? And why isn't it saying negative? So I called the bank, and they were like, oh, that's because there's a fraud alert on your account, because the money that was deposited the other day was actually stolen. What? Y'all, I cannot make this shit up. So like, oh my
Well,
lunch.
yeah, and women like her she's getting ready to experience a lot more of that. She's getting ready to experience a lot more of that. That's all women in her demographic are going to be good for, right? You too old to start a family. Your standards are way too high. He bought you a Louis Vuitton. Look, okay. I wonder if the thoughts ever crossed her mind to just sit down and just hang out with a dude. Just sit down. You ain't got to do nothing. Just sit down and just look at just look at a view from a mountain or from a flat or whatever the fuck. Just sit down in a park and just exist, right? And actually talk and hang out. No, you ain't got to buy a Louis Vuitton bag. Like, you see, this is why she's alone. And it's not going. She gonna be like Lisa Ann with the watch. Well, I got a neat watch, and she's sitting up alone. You just exist. But I'll answer that. The reason why women like her and Lisa Ann do not want to exist, they don't want to just sit down. Okay, see, the reason why women like her and Lisa Ann and they're older, they're not the worst looking women, but they'll always be alone. The reason why these women do not, and here's to be fair, most women do not want to have to sit down and exist, right? They don't want to. Most women, unless you orchestrate it to where it has to be done and you lead the conversation. Most, if not all women do not want to sit down and just exist, right? The reason why is because, like I said with last week, every single woman on earth is walking around with an imposter syndrome, right? She's wearing this costume of woman. She's invested in makeup, nails, hair, shoes, pants to make her butt look bigger, whatever the fuck, right? Right? All of this is done as a distraction, though, so you don't focus on her as an individual human, right? And see, the reason why they do it is because every woman knows if you had to genuinely sit down and truly just hear her thoughts, her genuine thoughts, she's disgusting, right? See, this is why they always got to be entertained with something flashy, something loud, something blinking. That's a big reason why they have to do it. The other reason is that they mentally don't grow up from being an infant, right? But the other part of it is, see, she doesn't want to have this, so she'll blame it on being bored or anything like that. Anything to try to pin on a man to get your attention off the fact that she cannot come up with a genuine, desirable conversation outside of how picky she can be and how it was the man's fault. She can't do it. This woman cannot do it. I will guarantee that's why she's still alone at 40. She can't do it. Most women can't do it, right? Because we've all heard that line, oh, well, the man doesn't know how to come up with conversation. Every man's heard that line at some point in his life. You're boring, you didn't come up with a conversation. See, what that translates into is the woman doesn't know how to make a conversation. She's afraid that you're going to see it and know it, so she'd rather hurry up and pin it on you. He's boring, he's this. No, bitch, you're boring. You're undesirable. The only thing that's keeping you desirable, women on a whole, is the fact that you're wearing that costume of woman, that distracting costume of woman, right? You're the boring one. You're the one who's not interesting. You're the basic one who's doing basic shit. If you're not doing basic shit, then you're sucking dick for it. Pick one, right? Pick one. The most funniest thing I see walking around Prague, right, is when you see these young, like 22, 23-year-old girls with like the new Apple Watch and a new iPhone, and and they're Czech and they live in Czech Republic. Like, dude, like everybody know you work at the smoothie shop in the mall. So whose dick are you sucking, or mommy and daddy bought it for you, type shit, right? Like women don't like that next level of thought. They don't get it, dude. Like they're just concerned with trying to do whatever they can to try to capture a better man than they are. Well, in reality, it's every man's better, but from her perspective.
I had to go to Bank of America and put out an affidavit to let them know it wasn't me. And they're like, no, we know it wasn't
But yeah,
you.
she's gonna get hit with a lot more of this at her age. This is gonna happen. This scam. That's all she's gonna be good for. She's gonna be good for side pussy, being seen with a woman in public, and scammed. She's gonna start hitting this a lot more. To be honest with you, that's what my stepsister. That's what happened to her. She went through the same shit. And to be fair with you, like I have a lot of respect for my stepsister because my stepsister was always very kind to me. She was always she told me what she was doing as a not even a teenage girl with grown men. She'd tell you everything, right? And she was an attractive woman. She's an attractive woman. She started because she's on the internet right now. You can just Google her name. She was doing a YouTube channel and all this other shit under her real name. So she never got like fat or anything. Um, um, but she did the same thing. She was one of these types of women, Now again, but she didn't get fat. She's more attractive than this woman. Um, and myself, she knew how to cook. I give she did know how to cook a little bit. Well, I said, yeah, she not a little bit. I say she knew how to cook, right? But she did the same thing. She was getting scammed. She was stealing money from her mom to give to the scammer, and they were sleep. I mean, there was one story where like she was sleeping and she got with some guy, and this was when her and her boyfriend, the drug dealer, had broke up for a while, and she got with some guy, and they were like living in a house. Well, come to find out, the house was a model house, and the guy stole the keys. And on top of that, the guy talked her into stealing $10,000 from her own mother to give to him for an investment, and the guy just disappeared, like was gone, right? Like it's, but yeah, this woman is gonna, it's gonna be a lot more of that. Because her standards are so high, the only thing that will fit those are either complete fools or scammers. A 40-year-old woman who's so established, that's the only thing that's going to appeal to her. Either it's going to be a man who's a complete fool, and there are fools around, or more likely it's going to be because typically a fool who's going to be that into her, he's going to come off as a beta chump to her, so she's not going to respect him. So the only thing that's actually going to make it through that filter in reality is going to be scammers. That's going to be about the only thing. But here's the thing. She knows she's 40, right? And she knows she's older. It's no secret that men want young, attractive women. It's no secret. You can try to shame men for it. That's cool, but that's what it is. That's what the game is, right? So she knows every woman as they get older, they know that they don't deserve a certain area of man. Though that area of man is now reserved for what she used to be. Every woman knows this, right? So let's say George Clooney himself came up and talked to her and was being genuinely cool, nice with it. George Clooney, Idris Elba, whoever. Right, whatever guy you want to use as that example, as that placeholder. Let's say Idris Elba came up to her and was genuinely into her, right? A large percentage of these women would end up self-sabotaging it because she knows that Idris needs to be with something a little better than her. She's not going to admit it, but a lot of women will. A lot of women will do that. They'll try to play along for a while, and she'll try to walk around and try to, play the act all up, and she'll try to she'll try to keep that act up, but she'll get tired of it and give it time, and she'll self-sabotage it because she knows she's not worth that.
And but I couldn't have an account with them for like years because of that. It was crazy. So you got to be careful you date and get to know people because it was real good and then it got real bad. Let's see, another bad date. I want to tell y'all some funny stories.
You don't have a lot of them.
And I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't really been in a serious relationship since 2017. So the dating has been very far and few between. But I dated this other guy who was a little older, and one of my biggest pet peeves is someone who doesn't tip well. Judge me if you want to, but I feel like when there are people in hospitality, you should take care of them, especially if they look out for you, and especially if I'm taking to because I actually set the reservation up because that was another thing. I was always having to set up everything. I'm like, bro, dog, like, can you do anything? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand that about men who it's like the courtship has been lost. Like, how men used to send flowers. We're gonna talk about that too. How men used to send flowers, take time in advance to set up, hey, I want to take you out on this day. They wait until the day of, like, oh, what are you doing tonight? There's no initiative anymore. We're going to talk about
for a 40-year-old woman, no. Anymore, yeah, where did all the good men go? For a 40-year-old woman, no, there's not going to be, no. Because he'd be better off sitting down somewhere playing Hades or some shit. Is that, or does he be better? He'd be better off just buying a hooker and not have to deal with you and deal with hoping you like him and all that old goofy shit. Oh, she gonna like me because I didn't tip well at a place where she made the reservation at? Like, well, no, you're not worth that. Is he? I really hope that media gets to a point where it's openly accepted that like that, and it's openly accepted that women lose their value as they age, right? Because motherfuckers are trying to fight it too much now. They're trying to act like, oh no, the older the berry, the sweeter the juice. Motherfuckers, they keep trying to come up with these excuses. I mean, like, is it? It's a tale as old as time. When you get older, it's gonna start. Like you're not gonna be what you were when you were 20. And then looking at her, I get to look. When she was 20, she was probably one of the top picks. When she was 20, you just 40 now, right? You just too old, right? There's not gonna be that same initiative for a 40-year-old woman. You done went down too much, especially with a 40-year-old woman trying to walk around expecting it. Now, if she was just a cool woman, and you know, she was just a genuinely cool, like for example, a single mother friend of mine, like she like weird, like she's just a cool woman. So yeah, like if I was single and I was like bored, I'd hang out with her, you know, because I know her daughter. I think me and her daughter, we get along pretty fucking well. Um, but um, yeah, but where it's going is she's cool. So yeah, I wouldn't mind like, setting up a place for us to meet kind of thing. Because she's just a cool, but because she's not walking around expecting it. Right? She has other issues. She's an Elaine Bennis, the friend of mine up in Jessica Lee, but she's an Elaine Bennis. She's one of those women who she's just not going. She's an Elaine from Seinfeld. She's never gonna have. She's just not that type of woman, right? And I think she knows it. It's not like an elephant in the room kind of thing. Like she knows it. Um, I'm like the Jerry to her Elaine kind of thing. Um, but no, for a 40-year-old woman, those days are gone. Finding men that's gonna jump through hoops for you and all like that, or make initiative or tip well at a place that you reserved. Look, well, how come you didn't tip? See, and here's a deeper part about morals that where I touched on last week. See, women do not have woman's morals is the woman's morals is to find a man who can protect her. That's all her morals. She doesn't care about religion, none of that other shit. All that's goofy shit to woman, right? Okay, because if her morals was to tip well, why didn't she tip well? See, the moral is not. Here's the thing. See, her moral in this is not in tipping because she's doing so fucking great in life. She works for the government and she's successful and blah, blah, blah. She's doing so fucking. How come she didn't tip? How come if it was her moral understanding, then why didn't she? Well, maybe she did. I'll give her that. Maybe I'm jumping the boat. I doubt it, but maybe I'm jumping the boat. Maybe she did tip. I highly doubt it. But why didn't she tip? Right? So if she tipped, then I'll give her that. If she tipped, I'll give her that. I highly doubt she did, but I'll give her that. Let's continue.
So I love flowers. Anybody who knows me knows that I love flowers. Do you know I dated this guy and he literally looked me in my face and said, "You know why I haven't gotten you flowers?" And I was like, "Why?" I do want to know. Actually, yes. And he said because you want them.
Yeah, that's wrong.
What sense does that make? He said, but when I do it, he said it's gonna be so elaborate, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh. And I was like, you're making no sense. If you know this is a part of my love language and this is something that makes me happy, do it. Because I do that for you. And that's another thing, understanding like how people need to be loved because the way I love may not be the way my man needs to be loved. So understanding that, hey, okay, Crystal's love language is all the love languages. So let me make sure at some point I'm touching her. Let me make sure at some point I give her affection. Make sure at some point I give her affirmations. I give her gifts. I do acts of service for her. And I feel like that's all encompassing a relationship. And I'm not saying do all those things every single day, but like just consistently let me know, hey babe, I see you, I hear you, and I feel you. And when he did that, I was just like, okay, this is crazy. I was like, you're not my guy. You can go. And the other guy who didn't tip well, it was just like, if you don't treat, I feel like you don't treat, the way you treat like waiters and people who are there to serve you, if you don't treat them right, that's an immediately dismissal for me.
Okay, so here. So let's deduce this nonsense right. So She ends it off by saying she pays attention to how you treat customer service and all that, which I agree that's plausible, right? That's I don't know if I use that correctly, but I can agree with that. I can agree with that situation. With that okay, again, that's not the reality. She just phrased it like that because she knows men want to hear that sense of admirability. Oh yeah, you should treat customers. She doesn't care about that. She wants to see that man spend some money because she figures she can hop on with it. That's all that was about. Okay, but with that to the side, she wants to treat people nice and fair and all this shit like that. But just before that, she claims that she dumped the guy because the guy didn't know the 5 love languages, some old dingbat reject woman bullshit. That women, if you want to sell something to a woman, just make it sound catchy, and they'll fucking buy dog shit wrapped in gold, dude. They don't care. um, she she judges a guy who did not randomly read some goofy fucking what is your 5 love language and and didn't okay, I'm sure she didn't sit down and just genuinely talk to the guy. She's expecting another guy to already know what dingbat material she's been reading, and see her standards are just through the fucking roof. They're too fucking high. She deserves to be alone. This woman deserves to be alone. Completely deserve. Talk to people. Try to understand where they are coming from. Right? Maybe he didn't do whatever fucking love language or whatever because he watched his wife die in a car crash. Did you think about that? Maybe he watched his wife die of lung cancer and he's mentally off, but he don't want to bring it up. Did you think about that? No, all you thought about was some dumb bitch Devil Wears Prada bullshit, and you're trying to hold up complete strangers to this delusion that you've created in your own fucking head. That's why you sit on the couch alone, right? And I don't mean this to hurt your feelings. I mean this as a reality check. You're a guy. This is dingbat shit, right? Devil Wears. This is dingbat shit. Maybe he really liked you. Maybe, who knows? His aunt could have just, got become paralyzed or gone blind. You don't know. You're judging this off of how much money he spent and did he communicate in your love language when you. What? Get this. See, people like you deserve to be alone. This is why you're alone. See, this is why women like you can't stay in relationships and can't get it because you're so fucked up and you keep trying to blame other men for your fucked up shit. Like Kevin Samuels says, see, this is why he used to focus on black women. I'm gonna say all women do it at some point. It's not just black women. But Kevin Samuels used to say, like, this is why he fucked up. This is why she's sitting on that couch alone with a neat watch. These are people, right? This motherfucker. Look, I'm not reading some 5 love language shit, right? I'm not. There's a very low chance I'm going to, unless I just do it for my own personal study, just my own personal studies. I'm not. No. You know why? Because I know how to actually talk to people, and I'm not expecting anybody to read my fucking mind. You're 40. Grow up. At 30, you should start growing out of this shit. You're 40. Expecting men to read your mind, buy you Louis Vuitton bags, you too goddamn old. See, Nicole Scherzinger gets away with this because Nicole Scherzinger was parading her little tutti frutti butt around on stage, and Nicole Scherzinger done aged out of that shit. You ain't Nicole Scherzinger. You are a hoe that works at the fucking government office, who walks in the office trying to walk around act like a white woman. Yeah, that's what you. Nicole Scherzinger is out your league, and she done aged out this shit. You too old. You are 40. Let it go. Or the men gonna keep letting you go. I mean, it's really shocking the growth rate of the typical woman's brain. It's really shocking. Men can be behind too. I'm not going to act like men are the perfect angels. Men can be behind, right? Definitely. Men can be behind. But when it comes to women in this entitlement shit, given her value, oh my God, it really gets to just sick levels. It really, okay. And again, the only thing that's going to validate this shit, right? The only thing that's validating this is because, see, just because she is literally the physical embodiment of woman, she can just hop on Tinder and get 5 matches in an hour. So she'll convince herself that, no, AD's wrong, I'm right, because I can still get matches on it and don't mind dating. You're a woman, you're going to get that. But see, it's that logic is what's continuously damaging women by the day. Knowing her worth and value. Your worth is getting pumped and dumped. Make no mistake about it. You're 40. Let it go. Louis Vuitton bag. Look, the only women that should be walking around excited about a Louis Vuitton bag is young women and women who are already married and their husbands buying them that bag. Okay, you, some random hoe at a bar or on Tinder, getting a Louis Vuitton bag out of somebody, okay, that's not anything to be proud of. But I get it. Your identity's so lost, it's so confused. You have to put it into material objects to further deflect the fact that you're just not a likable person. I get that. I get that. I truly do. I get that. But you're too goddamn old. It's not cute. It's not funny. You're too fucking old. And I'm only 6 minutes through. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, Nick, I agree. Yeah, the men at the office, yeah. Because she's a woman, dude. She's gonna get that. The men at the office, random guys, they're gonna hype her head up. They're gonna get to looking at her, and she go, well, I still got it, and she's 40. Yeah. Or she'll online dating or whatever the fuck she's into. Wherever there's going to be extra men at, they're always going to look for extra side pussy. And she's confused. Like all women are. They're confused in this shit. Well, most women. Some women do get it. But not very many. White women. Oh, Kevin Sam was also called out white women's BS. And I never seen that. Yo, what's up, Cosmic? Could we email you questions? Yeah, that's fine. You can email me questions. She probably used to be a waiter. That's the only reason why she said that women are not righteous. Yeah.
Even when I think about like the dating process as a 40-year-old woman, it's not the same as it was in my 30s. Like,
Of course
just don't
not.
have time. I'm like, okay, what we doing? Like, I'm not applying the pressure like day one unless I really, really like you. I'm like, is you my husband or my cousin? Because I need to know, what are we doing? Apply the pressure because I like you. But I do like to take time to get to know my person. I am big on referrals. I really do not like meeting strangers. I want to know somebody that knows you to vet.
Okay, see, here's the thing. See, the more she's getting ready to talk, the worse it's getting ready to get. The more she's going to talk, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. To Lisa Ann's status. Because she's got friends, she's got family, and they all know men, and she's been referred to men, and okay, see, her family knows all this is true. Whether it's her parents or her sisters or her cousins, she's the one who can't keep a man. She's Pam from Martin. Right? Her family members know. They just ain't telling her because they don't want to hurt her feelings. You're being referred men, all this shit, and you can't keep one. How many men has this woman been referred? How many colleagues, how many random hookups, Tinder, how many men just happen to not work? See, from the woman mentality. See, she thinks she's bettering her case of being picky. Like, no, like you're not desirable. That's everything that's getting ready to come out of her mouth is getting ready to just is fuel it. It's getting ready to get worse.
Like to vouch for you and say, okay, yeah, this person isn't crazy, or this is his past, this is what he's been through. I need a little background check on you.
And none of
Just
them
when
were
you
ever
feel
good
safe. And
enough.
then even with my success, like I have to be more strategic about the type of men that I even am around. You know, I have to make sure that you just don't have a lot going on, that you're here for the right reasons. Even like the dating phase. Like before, I could go a year and still be wondering, like, what are we doing? Now, after a few months, like, okay, we know each other. Like, what are we doing? Like, are we gonna make this thing official? You trying to put a ring on it? You trying to be my life partner? What? But it's definitely a situation where I'm open. I used to like to stay in the house all the time. And I was like, Krista, you're never gonna find a man if you don't leave the house. But y'all, even just getting ready, putting the makeup on, doing your hair, finding an outfit, just going to shop for an outfit because you feel like I don't have nothing to wear. And then you get out there and nobody approaches you. What am I doing? I find myself coming home, I done spent $200 on a meal and drinks and still ain't got no action. What's going on?
Because you dumb as hell. You spent $200 on a meal. You dumb as hell. Because you stupid. You work at a government job and you spent $200 on a meal. Because you dumb as hell. That's why.
Approaches you. What am I doing? I find myself coming home, I done spent $200 on a meal and drinks and still ain't got no action.
Yeah, because you're not desirable. That's why. You're not desirable to the men you want. That's why. You spent $200. Okay.
What's going on? I was still trying to figure it out. And people are like, men don't approach you. I'm like, no, nobody approaches me. I'm like, I don't know if I look like I'm mean, or some people say I'm unapproachable. Other people say, oh, you look like you already got a man. I'm like, I don't. I don't know if I need to just put a sign on back. I'm single, ready to mingle.
No, we know. I'm gonna tell you exactly how we know you ain't got no man, because you 40 years old and you got all that makeup caked on. That's how I can tell. Okay, and I'm being 100% honest. If I were to see a woman like her in a bar, I would immediately know that she doesn't have a man. If she does have a man, she's like she's a hoe. All right, and I mean that with all respect. Okay, if I were to see a woman like that in a bar with caked on makeup and all this, I would think she's a hooker, or she's on some first date or first couple dates with it. I would not think she was married or anything like that. Not with that much makeup on, I wouldn't. Not at all. We know you ain't got no man. Trust me, no, we know. We know you don't have. We know you don't have a man. There's no questioning that. By the time you see older women walking around trying to they favorite movies is The Devil Loves Prada and all that shit. But by the time you see women with this whole energy and vibe of this shit like this, right? You already know they don't have a man. That's common knowledge, right? I'm not shocked. Actually, that's what I initially thought was that my initial thoughts were that.
And maybe somebody will holler. But like I try to like be more conscious of like smiling at people, starting conversation or saying hello, just so the guy can know like, okay, she's interested, or that was an invitation to have a further conversation. But y'all don't get it. Like, I don't understand. Help me. I need somebody to respond to this and tell me what I need to do, because your girl didn't tell. And one of the biggest things for me is being intentional. And I let people know straight out the gate. Listen, if you're not intentional, I'm in a very intentional space in my life right now. I know what I want. I know what I'm ready for. I know what I bring to the table. So when you come into this table, I need you to understand, ain't no half-assing. Ain't no like, oh, I'll call her when I want to call her. I'm going to carry her any kind of way. Certain times, like in my 30s, I feel like I had a little more grace, or I feel like I put up with more because I wasn't as secure in who I am.
You were starting, that wall process was hitting. Now, you still look good for 40, I give her that. But yeah, 30s, that's when all that started to happen. Men started to stop caring anywhere near as much. You were starting to slowly get treated worse and worse and worse, and now here you are at 40, still alone.
But now I'm not putting up with that. I need you to come in knowing what you want and saying, hey, I see you and I know you're a good woman. I know I need to take this serious. Even if it's just as a friendship, I need to come in here knowing that I need to get to know you. I'm not playing with you, and where it goes is where it goes. I may have even put up with like cheating. You know what I'm saying? I dealt with that, and I would forgive and be like, it's okay, because I struggled with, and I still kind of struggle with this. I'm still trying to figure this part out. How we put marital expectations on dating. So we're not married, but I don't want you. I want you to be monogamous, exclusive. I want you to treat me like your wife, and I want all the rewards of a husband, and we're not married. So I had a friend of mine. She was like, I just believe that you're single until you're married. Until you're married, like it's not under God, but we know at some point it has to be like, okay, this is the decision. This is what I'm doing. And I would put up with a lot of things because I was like, well, like he's got to get out of the system, and I would make excuses for him. And then I would also try to justify, well, yeah, we're not married, so technically you can do what you want to do until we get married. But at what point does a man say, you know what, I'm ready to go ahead and start practicing being a husband, because I know you're going to want me to cook, you're going to want me to clean, keep the house right, keep my body right, you're going to want me to put it down right, you're going to want me to carry myself in a certain way, and all that encompasses a wife. And I feel like that was something that I dealt with that I probably wouldn't deal with in my 40s. Something else I dealt with in my 40s was inconsistency. I mean, in my 30s, something I felt dealt with in my 30s was inconsistency. I would allow a man to just kind of come in and come out. I had a lot of relationships where it was off and on. And whenever he called back, we were back on. We'd fade out, and then I would do what I was doing. He would do what he was doing. Then he'd call and say he missed me, and it was like, okay, we back, I had a guy that I did that with for like 6 years. He was like off and on, off and on. And to this day, it's funny. They're like, that's your husband. I'm like, no. They was like, well, he still ain't with nobody. And I'm like, yeah, because he got issues. He has commitment issues. And
So, yeah, that comes back to where, because I knew that math was not going to math properly. So she said earlier, she said she was 37 the last time she was in a serious relationship. Right? Did she remember at the beginning of this video? She said last time she was in a serious relationship, she was I think 37, right? And she was trying to downplay it like she hadn't been around the block and all that shit like that, right? Well, she just brings up that she was in an off and on again relationship for 6 years by some dude who was pretty much just pump and dumping her, used her as a reliable backup pump and dump for 6 years, dude. 6 years. So let's be all the way. Let's be generous. Let's say that 6 year period was from the ages of 27 to 33, or we could say from 30 to 36. And when she got in that good relationship at 37, who knows? But that's 6 years of being a pump and dump, dude. And how many other men was like trying to get with her and all that, and she, roasted him or whatever the fuck, right? Like, you can't feel sorry for him, man. You can't feel sorry for this. You can't feel sorry for this. There was always some dude who it's always a guy who's trying to be nice and do this, that, and and be always. That's how it always goes. It's always the nice guys that end up walking away all heartbroken and all that, and it's always the guys who don't care that do this type of shit for 6 years. We're back on and we're back off. Yeah. She calls them we. We're back on. We're back. Yeah. This is a fucking joke. This is a fucking joke. This is just a fucking joke, dude. Just women like her she deserves to be alone. She deserves to drink wine and cry herself to sleep. And yeah, she deserves this. She's now in a position the average simp men are in. Women have compassion for these types of men. They don't have any compassion for these kind of men. Yeah. Yeah, this woman's done, dude. She doesn't. The thing is, she's not an ugly woman. She looks good, but she's 40. It's just too late. She's missed it. There's no reason for a guy to seriously get with you. You know what I mean? Like to seriously stay there too long, right? Because I got a neighbor. I ain't gonna put all her business out in the street, but it fits this a bit well, right? Because I was telling my girl about the scenario, because they all can speak Czech together. Only her husband speaks English, but she's the girl I'm going to talk about. She only speaks Czech. So this girl, one of my neighbors, she was in a relationship with this guy for like 6 or 7 years. He's a real nice guy too. I think he's great. He can speak English, but they end up breaking up, right? 7 years later, and now she's early 30s, right? And I was telling my girl like, yo, like she like okay, when they first broke up, I knew something was awkward because she started like weirdly being like way over nice and like flirt. Like she was just doing stuff she never did before. Like would smile all the time and try to, be flirty and want to have conversations, even though I have no idea what she's saying. Way out of character shit for her, right? And I mean, she's like flirting with like every guy that comes by. She's like, doing this type of shit and and trying to lock eye contact and all this flirty shit, right? And I was telling my girl, I say, yo, like she doesn't know, she still thinks she's 23, right? That woman is now in her 30s, and she's going to face a whole different dating market than she did when she was 23. But she still thinks she's 23, right? And she's a cute girl. She's a cute girl. But she's 30, 31, 30. She's in her early 30s, somewhere like that. And she got to compete with them young Czech bitches. And she don't realize, like, she wants to hurry up and have a baby and all this shit. She's like in her early 30s and is. And I told her to tell her like whatever you do, do not go out there and have a baby too quick. All right, and try to do and because the number one thing every woman thinks, okay, every woman before she has a kid, if you try to tell her don't have babies, like she'll get mad because she takes it as she can't do it, right? Because she wants to feel like she's important and can do everything. But I'm telling you, dude, you do not. I was trying to tell my girl to tell her she does not want to be a single mother, right? She does not. She thinks she can handle that shit. She don't want to do that. She don't want to do that. That's a horrible mistake. Awful mistake. To intentionally become a single mother like that, right? Well, there was more to the story. I'm not gonna put all her business out there, but she was going to intentionally become a single mother. And I said, no, don't do that. That's the worst decision you can. You be better off going out there doing heroin than doing that. Look, I'd rather go find you some heroin. You mean? I'll find you some fentanyl. You could do some fentanyl real quick. But don't become a single mother, dude. Don't intentionally become a single mother on top of that. Yeah, that's going to be one of the worst decisions you make in your life. When it come to babies, yeah, see, you don't be seeing babies when they be at home and comfortable. See, when you see babies out in the street, see, they be all excited. See, when you see small children and babies out, like, in the street or in the world, see, you not seeing that real baby, bro. I know because I have a baby. Like, when that motherfucker is at home, like, that motherfucker is the complete other. See, when you see a small child in public, that motherfucker is rare that they're actually gonna be bad because they're more caught up with just seeing new shit, right? So they gonna be a bit more calm and all that. You get this motherfucker home, run around all goddamn day. I don't have a problem with it, but the thing is, I think most women don't really understand, and most people won't until they go through it. I had like a small stepchildren, but they were never like newborn small. But I knew what it was, right? So with these young girls, like they want to have a baby, and they don't want to hear that they can't do it, so they want to prove you wrong and all that shit. Yeah, don't know, bro. That's a bad decision. 80. Do you think eye contact is important when talking to women? Yes. But I would also say it depends on the swagger of the man too, right? Because depending on the swagger of the man, it could come off as like desperate. So it depends on the swagger of that man and like how he holds himself, right? Because if he does it wrong, it comes off as desperate. But if he does it right, it comes off as just confident, confident, right? Without the desperate side. But it but here's the thing with women, like you never really know from their side of it, because like some women just don't know how to make eye contact up front because they're just too shy. Other women, they need it. It really is just a gamble, to be honest. The whole thing is just a gamble to try to tell if a woman likes you or not. Because there was girls when I still remember this one story. What happened when I was a kid, man. A friend of mine's older sister. I remember I thought she always hated me, man, because she would never look at me. She would never look at me. She always was like weirdly low key mean to me when we were kids, right? Well, me and her were the same age. I used to play with her younger brother. He was maybe like 2 years younger than me or something like that. And I remember, and everybody had a crush on his older sister. She was she was just that girl in the neighborhood, right? I mean, she wasn't looking back, she wasn't anything special, but back then, when you live in a neighborhood, like a 6 back then would be a 10 if that's all you know, right? She was above a 6. I give her above a 6 at that time. Anyway, I remember one time I walked down to go get him so we can go play basketball. Well, the way that his sister was sitting on the stairs, she didn't see me walk up, right? And she was talking to one of her friends, and her friend's name was Tamara. I'll say her because the girl I'm talking about, her name is very specific. Like it's too specific of a name. I'm not gonna say her name, but her friend's name was Tamara, and Tamara was always real cool. She was nice. She was a pretty girl, but she was cool though, right? She was always like friendly. I mean, of course, anybody would have liked side pussy out of Tamara, but it wasn't really about getting pussy. She was just like a nice, cool girl. Like you just didn't have any problems with Tamara. There was never any doubt. You knew where you stood with her. As long as you're respectful to her, she was respectful to you, and you just kept moving, right? So I remember I walked down. I walked down the hill. Actually, well, I'm not. I would show you on Google Maps, but I feel like that's crossing too many boundaries. Um, I walked down the hill to their house, and again, the friend of my sister, the one I thought hated me, she couldn't see me. Her back was turned. She was talking to Tamara, and I walk up. And I walked all the way up to the house and so I was behind the guy's sister who doesn't like me, who I thought didn't like me. Like at all. Not like on a sexual level, just like at all. I thought she just despised me for some reason. Well, I walk up there and Tamara she pats her on the shoulder and like points behind her and she looks behind and it's me and she just like freezes up. And then Tamara goes, "What? But you literally just said you like Wendell. Why are you acting like this?" And she wouldn't say a word. She just completely freezed up, dude. Like completely freezed up. And at that point, I low key kind of felt sorry for her because she was clearly just like way too shy to ever say, or maybe she didn't want people knowing that she liked me, or I don't know what it was, but she would always do like these weird little mean things to me, like just little shit, a bunch of little shit, and like she was just always mean. But looking back, I guess she was just super shocked. It was the way I caught it. Like Tamara was telling the truth, like she really liked me, kind of thing, because she was genuinely like shocked about it. Like, why are you acting like this? Like you literally just said you like, and she could, because Tamara, the way she said it, she was like whispering it, like as if she just seen a ghost, like. You just said you. Why are you acting like? And the girl just froze, like wouldn't say a word, nothing. Like, and the few times I tried to talk to her, she would just ignore me. Before that, like she was just awkward. So the point I'm trying to get is when it comes to women, dude, they're just so cowardly and awkward. Like there's no way to know, what if she. Another example, the girl I told you about where I fucked her boyfriend's mom before I ever met her. Um, um, I started thinking about a story and I forgot where I was going with it. But it was the same. Most of the girls who end up liking me, like at first I thought they just really didn't like me. I forgot where I was going with that story. Cause I was thinking about that whole situation of fucking that the boyfriend's mom, like years before I had ever met the younger girl, the girl I ended up living with. But I forgot where I was gonna go with that. But you just never know, man. Until they just there's just no way to know. How do you let a woman know you don't need her without actually telling her? It's just more your actions, really. Because if you say you don't need her, then it's like you must be thinking about her too much, so you really need her, kind of thing. It's more, it's just like, hey, your actions is like just letting her go, not really, putting too much into her, no matter what, kind of thing. Shit like that. It's more in the actions instead of like actually saying it. Because there's certain things you just do and you just don't do. Like for example, it was last week the topic came up of asking if the woman's cheating, right? Don't do that. Do not ask her if she's cheating. Come to your own conclusion and just like distance yourself from her. But never listen. Absolutely never ask a woman if she's cheating. Never do that. Come to your own conclusion and make your own decision off of that. But never go to her and ask her. Okay? Because by the time. Okay, see, women want to think that they have this independent thought process and all this, and it's up to them on an independent level. No, it's not. Okay. Every woman's going to be the same with this. Every woman. It's going to come to the same ending with every single woman on earth because this is how women play these social power games, right? When you go to a woman and you get to asking her questions, especially something like, is she cheating on you? Either up front or later down the road, she's going to take that as he's more into me. He's more. No matter how much I'm into him, he's into me more because he cares more enough to ask me that first. Now she may play along and may pretend like everything's like if everything smooths out, everything's fine after that, whatever the fuck that type of shit. But that social power dynamic is forever shifted over to her. No matter what else happens after that, that power dynamic has now shifted, right? Never go to a woman and ask her if she's cheating on you. You come to your own conclusion and you distance yourself. Dump her, distance yourself, whatever. But never go and ask her if she's if she's cheating. If she's cheated on you, cheated, whatever. Never do that. Absolutely never. Under no circumstance. Under no circumstance is that beneficial for you. All that does is put you in second place. What's up, Eric G? I often thought of going to Germany. I want to ask if it's more the same. I don't have too much experience with dating with women in Germany. I honestly can't answer that. I don't have much experience with that. Um, when I was there, like the brothels the brothel I went to was awful. There, it was terrible. It was like American quality women walking around there. It was so bad. I drove back to Prague. It went to show. I'm not even joking. I did that. It was so bad. I had to forget. I had to do something to forget. But yeah, man. Yeah, never go to a woman. Never ask a woman. Never ask a woman, is she cheating? What are we? No. Never do. Say I want you to be my girlfriend, something like that. But okay, okay. And when you say I want you to be my girlfriend, say that after y'all have already been like together but just not actually said it, like y'all been like when you got that like that complete trust, like she'll be there kind of thing, like yo it's been Thursday, she usually ain't gone this long without coming over, and she comes over in like a half an hour type shit, something like that. Then and that's been going on for like months. Now you can drop that whole I want you to be my girlfriend type of thing, right? But don't come to her and ask her what are we, and see that's the woman's job. The woman is supposed to ask you all that shit, right? She's supposed to be the one to ask that. Because in the end, for real, okay, in that initial social joining, it's the woman who does the picking, right? The women have all the power in the beginning, but women have no power in longevity, right? So she has to be the one who goes out her way to talk to you, whatever the fuck, and all that shit like that, right? You don't do. I mean, in the beginning, most men typically have their approach. So in the beginning, yeah, go out of your way to talk to her. I'm not saying like always. I ignore bitches more than I acknowledge them. But the reality of it is, in a dating market, you're gonna have to approach majority of the times first, right? Because most women are just far too cowardly to ever approach anybody, including this one. That's why she spent $200 on food and drinks and went home alone. All right, because nobody approached her. Because she's not going to approach. Because that takes character. She's not going to do that. Most women won't. What was so bad about the German brothel? Well, the one I went to it was the women were just American level quality. They were just fat, attitude. Just after you see Show Park, you ain't messing with that no more. I, I remember there was this Russian dude, and I asked him how much was it, and he came up with some price. I think like 120 euros or something like that. I'm like, yeah, dude, I live in Prague. I'm just gonna go drive back to Prague and get me way better quality than this for half the price. I don't know if he heard my English and thought he was going to just try to just get some money out of my pocket. I don't know. Whatever it was, them women wasn't worth that. Right? And if they had women up in there looking like that, there's a low chance that there would have been a higher quality woman ever in that place.